Hello there, and welcome back to episode 6 of our Ultimate Team Poor Man's Road to Glory series. Our first one since the live commentary. And I can tell you it was all about the same recording this session the other day. I was raging again here. It's only because I played Rivals for like a good 3 or 4 hours straight just to get enough content for the 2 days. Because I ended up missing out on squad battles, so we've missed the rewards for that. So I decided not to play it until this Saturday. That means there would have been less content, so I decided to try and push for Division 4 for yesterday, I think. And it didn't go well. Well, it did go well up until we reached Division 5, then it was pretty even after that. I'm sooner or later going to come to terms with the game that I'm not as good as I used to be, because I'm playing and like I can't react to the keeper movement well enough anymore, and the defending, it feels like I'm not reacting quick enough. But I also feel like it's people having better players than me and the AI being a bit stupid as well. But based on the record though, I think it went something like I won like 7 games, drew about 2 and lost like 3, I think. So it's going to be around 6 games an episode, maybe more. I can't really remember. Maybe I lost less, maybe I won more, maybe a bit of both. We packed Saka last episode, and I'm not sure whether I wanted to use him over Kudus because I like the skill moves, but I need to learn them properly because I'm not utilizing them as well as I could be. I might sell him though, but I don't think his price will drop lower than it is, so I can sell him when I need the coins. So I'll probably keep him for now. I do like having first owner players as well. In terms of building the ultimate team, I'm quite annoyed I didn't get the octopus evolution, but I guess that's how I made this series, to replicate what most people would do, and I think most people wouldn't have the time to get to do the octopus evolution. Although I do believe the only people left on ultimate team playing the game are those who spend a lot of time on it. I don't think it's for casuals anymore, and it's just, it gets boring. If you're not good at the game, you can't like compete. I don't know how it feels being in lower divisions, but I think Division 4 is about where I'm gonna stay at around, because I do think I pushed quite deep into Division 5, and if I played a bit better I could get there. You can see through the games, I don't think I get demolished in any of these games. Is pretty even, and I get people to rage quit now and then. I win by like a goal, or I lose by like a goal. In terms of the Gravenberg, I'm a bit annoyed because with the playstyles and stats you could get from putting that Gravenberg into the octopus evolution, is probably unmatched for any Premier League midfielder there, like in terms of their card, considering Gravenberg's high skill moves, weak foot, and the playstyles it comes with. I do want to upgrade him, but he's pretty solid, and I don't know of an option there that is quite good defensively with all-round stats as well. Plus, he's got the box-to-box play style on him now, or like position style. I don't know what it's called. I'm looking to either get Bruno or Inform Szoboszlai for a cam upgrade. I do like Szoboszlai's card now, so I think with the familiarity, it might be better to just get the Inform version of him. But I do like the look of Bruno's playstyles. I guess I've got enough coins to try out both. I'm also looking for a better left winger. I do think I want at least 4-star skill moves, because I am unimaginative when it comes to getting past a man with Gordon. I just try and use his pace and only step overs. And like that made me realize why it was cheap. I think it's because he doesn't have the 4-star skills. But other than that, he's a pretty good card. Anyways, in terms of upgrading the defense, I'm not having many issues there in terms of players playing badly. It's just me defending badly. Same case with attack, but the upgrades are more readily available, I feel, in attack. Like how I can't find someone to replace Gravenberg. Having a high rated keeper I've seen might help, because some keepers I was coming up against were causing me issues. But again, my finishing needs to get better, because people do some highly unorthodox stuff on this game. But yeah, anyway, that's enough yapping about the game. It's our first results time for our Premier League predictions. I got 7 of the 10 winners right. and they were pretty close scores, I think, with the predictions, and 3 I got wrong. One of which I got swayed because of home advantage, and I probably should have been rewarded for my faith in it, as Newcastle's unbeaten streak at St James's Park comes to an end, and Arsenal's red card was like, come on, like who's gonna predict that? Although they have had 2 red cards before this, I think they got 3 and 7 now. And then the other one I got wrong, I think, was the Forest Palace game, but I think Forest did deserve that, so I don't think I can really claim being close with that one or unlucky. Talking about Saliba's red card, I don't think it's comparable to Adebayor's one. He had a defender literally 2 feet away from him, covering him, whereas Saliba didn't. I don't exactly see how that was a conversation over the weekend, but we'll get into him as we go through. Firstly, though, the Tottenham game. I was thinking a big win. Comfortable, I think. I went with 2 or 3-0, I think. Next time I'll actually keep these in check, but I think I can remember close enough to what I predicted. The Kulusevski goal and the own goal were a bit fortunate, but it's not like Tottenham didn't deserve the win. Nice to see Son getting some praise as well. He seems to go unnoticed by fans outside of Tottenham fans. He's been pretty consistent at top level for a long while now, and he's probably one of their not quite legends, but notable players to play for them in their recent history. West Ham just couldn't press on after the goal. They played well up until then, but when Brennan Johnson nearly scored, it seemed to flip from there on out. I think they were dominant after that. Brennan Johnson is a player who I think is great. He reminds me a bit like Dan James and Adama Traore. He's got like blistering pace, and he seems to stick to one wing more often than not. He's a proper like out and out winger, but of course he's got the sense to finish, playing I think he's played striker in his career, so I think that makes him more dangerous than them. He isn't fully putting chances to bed, and his final ball, although it's pretty good, I think they are dangerous passes that he puts in. They just don't seem to be converting to assists. But with some time, I think he can become a very useful player who can provide a lot of goals and assists. Kudus's yellow card that turned red, I think it was a bit soft, but if you touch a player now, it's a straight red, no matter what team you play for or what you do or how bad it was, unless, like, for example, that Rodri, unless you're Rodri, you ain't gonna get sent off. I think there was one where like Casemiro, like he got sent off for doing something, and Rodri did like the same thing the next week and he didn't. But other than that, I think it's been pretty consistent where if you lay your hands on a play, it's a straight red card no matter what. Second game was the United game. Could really have been the 2-0 I predicted, but it was unfortunate to concede that goal that late into added time as well, especially when you probably wouldn't have if you had your best aerial player not sent off just before it. But I've always heard De Ligt is a good leader and professional, and it just goes to show, because he wanted to stay on the pitch even though he had that gash in his head, and he probably would have tried or helped prevent that goal. I do understand why it was taken off. It is the rules, but it's just so much more apparent when it's right before corner, like a set piece that they score from, where he probably would have marked Pinnock and the goal probably wouldn't have happened. The first half was pretty even, probably should have been even at the half, but it was good to see United show up in the second half, especially so early on, which we usually don't do. And just a quick one on Garnacho, you usually think of him as a good dribbler and very direct, but you can't let his shooting go unseen because he has got a very powerful and accurate shot. I don't think people think about that much when they think about him. His technique is great, and we saw that in the goal, and throughout the game I think he had a few other very good shots that challenged the keeper. It was nice to see Rashford assist too. He's always been able to put a good cross in from the right, so I'm not entirely surprised that that happened. Talking about a clean assist though, and a good finish, that Bruno flick is the type of stuff we enjoy seeing from him, but it doesn't come off more times than it does, which is the only problem with it. I enjoyed the side of Bruno. I'm a very direct player and I give the ball away a lot when I try passes like that, but when I try passes that are long balls, you know, risky passes. But when they work out, you create a good chance or like advance the ball so far that it's just very rewarding to do. It's just that you don't want to need to be told to do it as much. That's the only way it works with me. Like I need to be told. Maybe Bruno needs to be told not to do it as well, but I don't want him to play it too safe too often either. So it's hard to say, but sometimes playing safe passes also can still lead to a goal, but it's just not as flashy. I feel more sympathetic towards him than others do, but when you get into a flow and a few games of good passing and assists, it is very effective, but he does need to do better. I feel like the finish was better with this goal though, and Rasmus was composed as you like, just lofts it over the keeper. And I don't like to pit players against each other, but I prefer Rasmus's profile of striker to Xerxes. Some will feel the other way, but there's a use for them both, but I prefer the athletic force in a striker. Rasmus also, I think, has a pretty good goal record for us, and he seems to be getting better and better. He just needs to stay fit because I think he's a pretty complete striker who has the potential to be at least. I know there's a ways to go for the level he's at, but in terms of having the qualities needed, he can get there. I think quite a long time on United there, but I watch the games properly with those. With others, not so much, and I usually use highlights to catch up on when there's multiple games on at the same time. Plus, I like to talk about my team and players because I support the club and I know more about it, so I know how players change from week to week, what is different week to week, and if it gets better or worse. The other games on at the time, there were quite a few, but we'll talk about the Villa versus Fulham one. I said it would be a good end-to-end game, and it kind of was. Would have been 3-2 as well if Pereira scored the penalty. Whether it was a penalty or not is hard to tell. From one angle, it looks like Cash was trying to slap Jimenez in the face, and the other hand, it seemed a bit natural. I understand it was given with his arm outstretched like that. So not much complaints from me. The red card was also a bit of a 50-50. It was last man with no cover, so it was definitely whether it's a red card or not, but I would say the contact wasn't excessive until Watkins went down, but Anderson had his hands a bit too high, like his elbow was a bit too high, so I think you have to give the red card there. Talking about the goals in the Villa game, the first was what I was thinking with the quick transition. I don't know if you can even call that transition, but something like that. It was a well taken goal. The defenders probably should have done better. Second goal was a deflection, but it was Morgan Rogers who scored, who I was talking about the other day. I think he got given the goal, which means it was on target, but it was still lucky. Third goal was a brilliant take from Watkins, the near post header from the corner. It's not easy, so can't complain with luck about that. The last goal was an own goal. It was also lucky, but probably not as much as the first, considering it's not Villa getting lucky, it's just the defender getting unlucky. What makes it worse for Diop though was that Leno probably would have got to it if he didn't get a touch on it. Fourth game is the Newcastle versus Brighton game. Newcastle has let me down here. I'm a fan of how they play, and I did really hype up St. James's Park, but it didn't give them the edge they needed. They had a catalogue of missed chances. They should have put some of them to bed. I just want to talk about that Veltman move though, to avoid the handball and penalty at the start against Hall. I feel like that's why they got the clean sheet. You couldn't not let him have a clean sheet after that move. Like, I thought for a second that he did touch it, but he actually didn't, I don't think. Newcastle though should have scored about 5. Like, they had 2 or 3 really good chances, and then like 5 more that they should have made more of. Brian only really got 2, maybe 3, but even then I wouldn't exactly count Welbeck's as a chance because it was well taken, a good touchdown, and then the strength to shrug off 2 attempts at the ball, and then the calmness to finish under that pressure was really good. I can't lie, he's been a very useful player over the last few years, and it shows that he was like decently thought of coming out the United Academy, although he hasn't reached the heights of like a 20 or 25 goal per season striker. I wouldn't have minded him playing for United the past years with our strikers, like the issues we've had fitness-wise. We had to loan Weghorst that one season. Talking about strikers though, I spoke about Isaac only a few episodes ago, and he goes and misses a one-on-one like that. He probably should have scored another one too, and so should Gordonov, and a few other players had some chances. There's no excuse for Newcastle not winning that game. The next game of the weekend, probably the best game, pretty much like up there, I think. In terms of big clubs, no, but like in terms of entertainment, it was up there. The Southampton Leicester game, which I think I did say it's always entertaining when the relegation teams go up against each other. It just feels like a championship game, like when the newly promoted teams come up against each other, which is always good. But even this was on another level. There was chances left, right and centre. And who doesn't love watching Jamie Vardy play football? I've seen people complain about that penalty, saying how was it given if Ayew did the same thing. On corners though and free kicks, that much contact is always going to happen, but when you put someone back while he's pretty much inside the goal about to score a tap in, it's a blatant red. Ayew's was for about a good like 4 seconds though, and I'm pretty sure someone didn't get a card a few weeks back because of the time they held on for someone or something like that. But you've got to show a yellow there with no penalty, but like that doesn't make sense. That's like if you give a foul away and a card, it has to be a penalty because it's a foul, so it's kind of hard to solve that problem. Archer scored 2 like similar goals. One was a bit further back than the other in terms of like when the cross came in. Because he's scoring goals, I think Southampton might actually be able to pull it back later on into the season, especially if they stop conceding goals. Like if you score 2 goals in a match, more likely you're going to be winning more often than not. Leicester's first goal was also similar with a cutback, and then the penalty with Vardy. I mean, I don't know if he was a bit angry for the fact that he got pulled back, but yeah, he packed that one in. And then the late winner, it was such a P-roller too, in the 98th minute off a corner. It must have hurt for Southampton fans. I know I would have hurt if United lost like that. But yeah, that's the Leicester-Southampton game. The Everton-Ipswich game went kind of how I predicted, with a mistake for the first goal. Still a good finish though. Ipswich with a chance or two and a penalty call, which VAR actually done his job for once. But even still, I think they're stuck with the on-field decision, so it doesn't really count for much. I do think Everton deserved the win with 2 well-finished goals. Keane with an absolute banger. I'm pretty sure every goal he scores is a banger. I remember when it was him or Stones at Burnley and City went for Stones. I wonder what it would have been if City got Michael Keane. Easy win for Everton though, and they probably should have had more. Now the game where I was surprised the most, but I guess anything can happen in football, is Arsenal losing to Bournemouth. Red card in the first half an hour for Saliba. It still was a pretty even game though, but Bournemouth did create a bit more, I think. It was a deserved win for them, and that corner routine, it just shows like that corner routine was well worked. Like they had that in their locker. I mean, you knew they were going to win after that. And I said in my prediction they need to be winning games like this to stay title contenders, and it seems to be slipping away, only 7 games in. And now on top of that, they're missing Saliba for 3 games now, so it won't get much easier. The City game was my worst prediction that I got the right winner for. I did give Wolves their flowers in my first episode when I was talking about Gary O'Neill. I thought Man City would perform better, but without Rodri they seem to be much weaker. But Wolves held on very well, and they were unlucky not to get anything out of it, as they have been all season. I just thought they would have run out of energy, like considering their past few games, getting unlucky with not winning. But I feel this loss, even though it was a late winner that gave them the loss, I think it would give them enough confidence to string together some wins. Brilliant goal from Guardiola as well. He's scored a couple bangers now. A very good player. As a defender, to be that all-round, he really has the potential to be special. It's just that where is that going to be? Is he going to play centre-back, left-back, or maybe becomes good like somewhere else? The John Stones winner as well. We were talking about Michael Keane. John Stones with a winner. I think he scored a few winners now, which just goes to show how valuable and experienced he is. Whoa, that's already time here. I didn't realize how long I was talking for there. next episode, I guess we'll finish off reacting to the predictions I made, and then we're gonna have to make predictions for the weekend coming too. I wanted to be more about me talking about topics of football, but I guess I am talking about football here with, I was talking about Brennan Johnson there, I was talking about Garnacho, Bruno, Rasmus. So I guess we can kind of go through every team here and there. Every week, I guess there's going to be a different topic. I'll just try not to repeat myself, but over time, I think you'll be able to get a better gauge of what I think about everyone, and then it will slow down there where I can talk more about topics that are relevant. But that's all for now. I'll see you in the next one. Farewell, my friends.